What's up, my doggos? If you're new to the page, my name is Nelson. I'm 20 years old and I generate over $50,000 a month. In today's video, it's going to be different to what I usually talk about. It's going to be more of a raw talking about the 10 lessons I learned from making over 6 figures in the past year, from working a warehouse job to making over 6 figures. And if you've been following along, if you don't believe me, here's the proof right here. This is everything I've made in the past 6 to 8 months. And this is the 10 lessons I've pretty much learned ever since making over 6 figures. And once again, if you're new to the page, just check out my other YouTube videos. I can drop them in the links below on exactly what I do, how to get started, and what you need to do in order to get started. To break it short, I sell high expensive digital products online and market them through social media. And like I said, if you want more in-depth videos explaining how to do it, what to do, and how to get started, I'll leave the links in below to watch them. Now, how did I make this transition? Now in this video, I'm going to show you the exact lessons I learned along the way. This isn't a video about how I got rich overnight. It's about the lessons I learned along the way, and I want you to prevent or learn something from this video. So let's get into it. The first thing I really want to talk about is my relationship or faith with God, and I owe all my strength and glory to Him. You know, if there's any advice I will put out there is put God in the center of your life. When you wake up, thank God. When you eat, thank God. There was times where I was ungrateful and I was prideful. You know, ultimately a lot of things that get in the way of entrepreneurship or success in a way is having a pride or having an ego to an extent where, you know, you start to become a person you don't want to become. It comes down to realizing yourself that being prideful or being spiteful, being ungrateful in certain things, ultimately comes down to who you are as a person and who you go to for those certain things. So my first thing to anyone watching this is put God first, put God at the center of your life. And I'm blessed to be able to just talk to a camera, you know, be able to impact other people, be able to have an impact once again and help people in the right direction. And if there's anything I want to put out there for a message, the first thing I want to put out as well is just have a relationship with God. You seek, you shall find. And it starts within and it starts with you. And now we'll get into business. Now, lesson 1 is pretty much your phone can be the tool to success and not a distraction. We all carry our phones around everywhere, pretty much. But how many of us are using them to be productive? Are we just scrolling on our phones? Are we just doom scrolling as soon as we finish work or even on break? Because if I'm being honest, I was that person as well. Just constantly scrolling through social media on videos that pretty much didn't have any value, just constantly scrolling until I started to see pretty much kids making money off their phones. And I always have this belief is they can do it, why can't I? And you got to understand that as well. You got to have that hunger in you to realize if someone can do it, so can you. It starts with believing in yourself. Once again, you just need to find how to do it, what to do, the knowledge you need, and then take action from that knowledge. Ultimately, the person you want to become comes from the person within. And our phones are the most powerful tools. And since we're on our phones pretty much 24/7, it is our most powerful tool we can use to be successful. You can access information from anywhere, anytime, from learning about business models to finding new products to sell. Your phone is the goldmine of your knowledge, but it also can lead you down a bad spiral. So you want to use your phone wisely. You have access to Google, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, countless of platforms teaching you how to make money, how to grow your business, how to learn a skill. It's all about making the decision, spending time on learning them, just consuming, instead of spending your time scrolling, rotting in bed, as soon as you wake up, as soon as you go to bed. Learn something new every day that could potentially change your life and change others. That's pretty much how I shifted this from being a distraction to being a tool to success. Now, the second lesson I learned was success comes from consistency and not quick wins. Jumping into the online space, I thought success would be about finding that new, trending, get rich quick scheme. But I learned that success doesn't come from jumping from one idea to the next, to the other, to the next trending thing that's happening right now, meme coins, trading, whatever it is. It's about consistency. Wealth isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building something over time that will compound with your knowledge, your skill set, and whatever it is you're pursuing right now. Once I focused on a single business model and stuck with it, the results started to show. The key is not to get distracted with shiny new opportunities or shiny new objects. Stick with what works, keep improving, and the money will flow if you have the right business model. Lesson 3 will be choose your crowd or pick your crowd wisely. Once again, you are who you surround yourself with. So you want to be surrounded with people that want to see you win, want to see you succeed, and ultimately people that are better than you or have more knowledge than you. Because once you're able to just pick their brains and understand how things work, how they function, and how you can learn from it, you ultimately level up from it. And I'm sure, I can guarantee, you are who you surround yourself with, and your environment, it's contagious. Whatever you do, who you surround yourself with is ultimately comes down to who you are as a person. So the quote, you hang around 5 smokers, you be the 6. You hang around 5 drinkers, you be the 6. If you hang around 5 successful people, you will be the 6. So the lesson here would be, surround yourself with people you want to become, or surround yourself with good people where you don't fall down a bad spiral. Instead, you're constantly leveling up, you're constantly improving every single day as a group as well, and not just individual. Number 4 would be, take care of your family. Family was a big motivator for me. Growing up, I was blessed to have a roof on my head, food on the table, water to drink, clothes to sleep in. I was very grateful for what I have. But obviously there were certain things that we didn't have that I wanted, and I'm glad I didn't have those things now, because I wouldn't have the kind of hunger to give back to my family as much as I do now. And I've been able to take care of my family, been able to provide them with house essentials, rent, whatever it is always giving back to my family, and remembering how I got here was because of them. I wouldn't be here without them. It's always just remember to always give back to your family. Always remember your why when you're starting something, and don't neglect that. There's going to be times where you feel like what you're doing right now, you don't need to talk to your family, but tomorrow is never promised. So constantly check up on them, see how they are, and take care of your family once you do start to make a good money. That would be lesson 4. Lesson 5 would be, failure is not the end, but it's part of the journey. I believe the more times you fail, the more times you learn. And the more times you learn, the more times you can learn from that mistake and put it into a win. Your mistakes becomes a win, and then the wins become mistakes again, and you're constantly improving. You're reframing your beliefs, you're reframing your brain into believing that this wasn't a mistake, this was a lesson. And many people are scared to fail. Many people are scared of the thought of failing. But my thought process is, in order to succeed, you actually need to fail. I would rather fail 1,000,000 times than succeed once, because through those failures, I know I've learned something from it. And I've learned from my failures, which ultimately has got me to making over 6 figures in the past 8 months. So my advice here is, don't be afraid to fail. Embrace the failure. What can you learn from this failure? Lesson 6 would be, start small but dream big. Dream big in terms of having a big vision of who you want to become, where you want to be, but do micro steps in order to get to that stage. So you need to start becoming the person you want right now with little wins. So dream big. Whether you want to give back to your family, whether you want a certain amount of money, set that goal out for yourself, but do micro steps in order to achieve those goals. So you start with small wins, you start believing in yourself more and more that you can achieve this. Once the belief comes in, keep dreaming bigger, and ultimately you'll get to where you want to be, because you've seen a success, you've seen a win, and you're gonna start progressing into those wins more and more. Lesson 7 is pretty much just don't give up. If something bad happens in your life and you ultimately give up on what you said you're going to do, you don't become a man of your word, and you kind of lose value within yourself, a belief within yourself that you can't do certain things because you gave up yourself. There was times where I wanted to give up. There was times I didn't want to do this anymore. The only reason I am here today is because I didn't give up. And I think to myself, what if I did give up then? I wouldn't be here right now, because God will always test you, but then he will bless you. So you got to think the grass is always green on the other side. Whatever challenge you're facing right now, whatever setback you're chasing right now, it's all a perspective on perseverance and how you can adapt to certain things, how you can evolve as a person, learn from all of these things that's happening in your life. Lesson 8 would be keep learning and evolving into the person you want to become. Knowledge is key. You need to constantly want to learn. Ultimately, you need to constantly want to get better as a person, whether it's skills, whether it's fitness, whatever it is. Constantly seek learning, wisdom, knowledge, evolving into the person you want to become. Keep pushing yourself, because ultimately it's within you, the people you're around, but it's up to you once again to learn, to take action, push the needle ultimately. So keep learning and evolving. Number 9 ultimately is a big one, because you don't want to compare someone else's success to what you're doing right now. Once again, I bring it back to God has a plan for you. God has his plan for you. And because if you think this is meant to happen, because then ultimately it's his plan. And if we put our faith in him and what he has for us, then your faith, your belief in him will ultimately become the person you set out to be. Yeah, there's a verse in the Bible, John 13:7. You do not realize what I'm doing, but later you will understand. And I think that was a huge thing for me, not comparing myself to others and not looking at their success as me envying them, whereas I should support them in their success, rather look at how I can improve on where I want to be instead of comparing myself. So don't compare yourself to others. Lesson 10, and the last one, is trust your instincts and take risks. If you want to succeed, you have to take risks. I'm not saying take a stupid risk right now, but trust your instincts. Most of the time, the best opportunities comes from trusting your gut and stepping out of your comfort zone. I've taken risks that others wouldn't, and those risks has paid off. It's not always about playing it safe. It's about taking calculated risks that push toward your goal and where you want to be. Don't be afraid to take that leap. And those are the 10 lessons I learned from making over 6 figures in the past year, but at the age of 20 years old. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Share it with anyone who needs to hear this. Tag me on your stories. Follow me on Instagram. Message me on Instagram if you want to learn more about how I make money online. If you have any questions, just message me on Instagram or jot them in the comments below in this video. I'm here. My mission is here to help you to make a change. Let's keep growing into the new year. Let's bust it out. On to the next. I'll see you in the next one. Love.